Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 98 of Adventures and Mousecapades. And this week we are talking about how much Nathan is enjoying his podcast beverage at this time. This week we're actually talking about Star Wars Episode 1 character Jar Jar Binks and whether he's a jovial fool or secretly a Sith Lord in a deep covert operation to infiltrate the rebellion.
He's a Sith Lord, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, good conversation.
Yes. What are we talking about this week?
Well, we often get questions about Disney Vacation Club or DVC. And we've talked about DVC a bunch in the past, but I don't think we have kind of a DVC 101 episode. So this is really meant for answering the question, what the heck is DVC?
Yeah, because we do talk about it a lot.
Right.
Because we are DVC owners.
Absolutely. So let's start answering some of those questions.
Yeah.
So DVC is Disney Vacation Club. It is Disney's answer to vacation timeshares. It is effectively a vacation ownership plan, and it was founded in October of 1991.
What makes DVC a little different is it is a points-based system rather than a single week of a year. You do a one-time purchase price of a portion of a unit at a specific resort, and that purchase is shown as a number of points that are allocated each year until the contract expires. And expiration dates range from 2042 to 2070 based on the resort that you buy at. And I think it's a 50-year contract.
Right.
Basically
Right. So whether you buy in year 1 of that resort being open or year 12 or 15 of that resort being open, the end of that contract is still the same for everybody at that resort.
Once that resort hits 50 years.
Right. We don't know what DVC will do once that 50-year time horizon comes around. We will see in about 20 years.
Mm-hmm. And the points you get can be used for stays at any time of year in a variety of the different size rooms that they have at the resorts based on availability. Currently, there are 16 different locations, and there's multiple others in design and development right now. Disney likes to refresh and update and add to their portfolio.
Yes, absolutely. Right now, those locations include the villas at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel in Disneyland. They have 48 units, but most of those are 2 bedrooms and can be split into basically 2 one-bedrooms. So you'll see lots of different numbers being thrown around. Technically, if everything is completely split up, there's 71 units, but you'll also hear 48 because there are 48 units. Mm-hmm. There are no studios or dedicated one-bedrooms at the Grand California Hotel for DVC.
Disney also just opened a couple months ago the Villas at Disneyland Hotel. This is a new tower over in the Disneyland Hotel area. Now there are 4 towers instead of 3, and one of them is specifically just DVC units.
Yes, and there's 340 units there.
Yeah.
And I heard somewhere on another podcast the other day that there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 million points at, say, Disneyland Hotel. So if you're wondering about how much are you actually buying into, like what is your fraction? Do you own just a sink or do you own the sink and the drain? That can help you out. If you figure on the 3 to 4 million points range, if you're buying a contract that's 200 points, do the math.
Yeah. In Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida, there are a lot of different options for locations here. We have Bay Lake Tower, which is near the Contemporary Resort. There's 300 units there. The Animal Kingdom Villas over by Animal Kingdom, kind of just standalone by itself over there. There are 708 units. The Beach Club villas have 282. The Boardwalk villas have 530. Those are right by Epcot.
Moving over towards the Magic Kingdom, we have the Polynesian villas and bungalows. There are 380 units there. That includes the new tower that they're building out right next to the wedding pavilion, kind of between the wedding pavilion, rather, and the Polynesian proper. We also have the villas at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. There are 147 units over there.
Over by the Wilderness Lodge area, there is the Boulder Ridge Villas. There's 181 of those. Copper Creek Villas and Cabins, that is 185 units. And they are refreshing I don't know, what would you call those little mobile home type things.
Yeah, they're cabins.
They're cabins, yes.
They're literally cabins.
Yeah. Over in the Wilderness Lodge area, that is also going to be a DVC now. We don't have a whole bunch of information about that other than it is coming.
And I think it's coming soon because they're already starting to swap out some of those trailers.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking over at some of the original DVC resorts, we have the OG, the Old Key West Resort, is 761 units. And then Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa has 888 units.
And our current favorite is the Riviera Resort. It is 300 units. That is all the ones at Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. And there are also a couple of one-off DVC resorts in various areas.
Mm-hmm. We have the Vero Beach Resort in, where was that one? Oh, yeah, Vero Beach. Did you say Ireland?
No, I was going to say, I think it's Vero Beach.
Yeah. Anyhow, there are 211 units over there. There's also Hilton Head Island Resort in, wait for it, Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. There is 123 units there.
There's also, over in Oahu, Hawaii, Aulani in Ko'olina, and that has 460 units.
And that is where we own 2 contracts over there at Aulani. And we just picked up a contract a few months ago over at the brand new villas at the Disneyland Hotel. So we will be checking that stuff out. In fact, tune in next week to hear all about the brand new villas at Disneyland Hotel.
What kind of rooms can you get with DVC?
All kind of rooms.
All kind of rooms.
Okay, great. Moving on. Next.
There's a variety of different rooms you can get. You can get anything from just a studio villa, which is similar to Disney Deluxe hotel rooms, all the way up to a grand villa, 3-bedroom or treehouse type thing.
Yes. So a studio villa starts out kind of at the bottom. This is the fewest amount of points per night that you'll need to spend. And these include like a little mini fridge, a microwave. Some of them often have a balcony. You get access to a washer and dryer at no cost, but typically they're not in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is much more equivalent to kind of a standard good old hotel room.
Yeah. And then you have 1-bedrooms. And the 1-bedrooms have a full kitchen. This includes a refrigerator, an oven, stove, dishwasher. There's a washer and dryer in the room, and all of them have a patio or a balcony. This is really nice, especially when we're in Aulani, because we can cook meals in the room.
Yes.
We don't have to do Disney prices every night.
Well,
for dinner.
you've got Disney prices on top of Hawaiian prices.
Yeah.
So it gets real expensive over in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Now, a 2-bedroom, get this, has 2 bedrooms.
What?
Yeah, I know. Plus, it also includes, that living room area. The 1-bedroom has a living room area as well, and has, the full kitchen and things like that. You also have the concept of a lock-off with some of the 2-bedroom units, and that part of it can be that dedicated 1-bedroom with includes a washer and dryer and all the rest, the full kitchen and things like that. And then the other side could be rented out separately and has its own separate entrance. And that would be a studio kind of villa experience over on that side.
And then they have just the dedicated 2-bedrooms, which are just 2 bedrooms.
Just there's no separate.
No
right.
separate. No door closing in between the 2.
Right. There's also the very fun and spacious and beautiful 2-bedroom bungalows over the water over at the Polynesian that everybody loves to see. We've also had some friends stay in one of the 2-bedroom cabins that's right there on the water over at Copper Creek Villas.
That was awesome.
That was super awesome.
I would like to do one of those sometime.
Agreed.
And the 2 bedrooms can usually fit up to 8. I think it depends on where you are. Some of them may have more or less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's also the grand villas. Not every resort has grand villas, though, but a lot of them do. These are 3-bedroom villas. Some of them are 2 levels, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
And they have 4 bathrooms and a full kitchen and washer and dryer.
And the full dining room, too.
And a full dining room, yes.
Yes. These are fantastic places to stay. We have done this several times at different resorts. It's fantastic when you have extra folks staying with you. It's fantastic when you can give your kids completely separate bedrooms because they need to be separated sometimes. Yeah, everybody appreciates the 3-bedroom grand villas.
And they can usually fit up to 12 people.
Right.
Vero Beach Grand Villas are beach cottages with panoramic views of the Atlantic. Well, we're going to have to try that sometime.
Uh-huh.
And then Saratoga Springs also has tree houses that are 3 bedrooms, and they sleep 9.
I'd love to try those too.
Yeah, those sound fun too.
All sorts of things we need to go try.
Yes.
The smallest room in the DVC fleet are the new Tower Studios that are at Disney's Riviera Resort. Those are just 255 square feet. The bed is actually a Murphy bed that comes down out of the wall. It's a really quaint little room. It is only for 2 people and looks like a fantastic crash pad for between your days in the parks.
Yeah. The largest is the Grand Villa at Copper Creek. That is 3,204 square feet. That's big.
Yes, very big. I'll volunteer as tribute if you need somebody to check that one out.
Have at it.
So we've mentioned that we have a few different contracts. We have 2 different what are called home resorts. Alicia, could you explain a little bit what being a home resort means for you when you go to book your vacation?
Well, a home resort is basically what resort you buy into when you buy a DVC contract.
Right.
When we first bought in 2013, there were 2 options for home resorts. One was Grand Floridian, the other was Aulani in Hawaii. And we chose Aulani. No matter what your home resort is, what you buy into, you can book at 11 months out. You can get rooms and dates 11 months out.
Right.
Any other resorts that you want to go for, you can book those at 7 months out.
So basically the difference is you have a 5-month exclusivity window where only DVC owners of that resort or at that resort are able to book for your home resort. And then it opens up to the entire DVC community.
Yeah. So if I wanted to book Aulani in October of next year, we could do that because we own at Aulani.
Right. And it's already November. If we wanted to go book at Vero Beach for next October, we would need to wait until March, if my calendar math is working correctly, because we need to wait for that 7-month booking window to open up.
With your points that you get, you can also bank and borrow them. What that means is if you know you're not going to use your points in a certain year, you can move them to the following year. And
right, that's banking.
That's banking. And there's time limits on all that. I won't go into those. You can learn about those later.
Right.
You can also borrow points from another year, from a farther out year. If you, say, want to do a grand villa, but you don't quite have enough points in this year, you can pull some from your subsequent year.
Right. So the maximum that you can spend or have to work with at any one given point in time is 3 years worth of points.
Yep.
So if you have a contract that gives you 200 points a year, I can plan ahead on my vacations and bank 1 year into the next, and then in that next year, I can borrow in the year after that into that current year. And so now I have 600 points. Now that means that of those 3 years, I'm only using my points in that kind of middle year, but I have 600 points to work with. It does mean that you have an opportunity to plan a little bit more of your vacations. And if you are going to be spontaneous, DVC can absolutely still be spontaneous with you. But if you are the folks like we are who are starting to make plans for our vacations 2 years out, DVC is right there with you.
Yep. And points do expire if you do not use them. They do not roll over unless you push them yourself to the following year.
Exactly. Alicia, are there opportunities for me to use my DVC points or my DVC membership at things that aren't on this list of 16 DVC resorts?
Why, yes, Nathan, there are.
Do tell.
If you buy points directly from Disney, you can use your points for Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney. Let's see, there's also the Concierge Collection, and you can convert your points into, I think it's called Interval International as well. There's a lot of other options that you can use your points for if you don't want to specifically do a DVC resort.
So DVC gives you a lot of flexibility in where you can stay, because some of those concierge resorts and options that were mentioned are very fancy hotels around the world. You can spend your points and convert them into hotel rooms at many Disney resorts. You can kind of do just about anything. And then Interval International is really fantastic because you can get significantly discounted cash rates at a bunch of different resorts worldwide that are not in the Disney portfolio. So lots of vacation options available for you.
There's also a lot of member extras that Disney offers if you buy directly from them. And this is only if you go directly through them. There's discounts on merchandise. I think it's like 15 or 20%. There's discounts on different tours that Disney offers. There's members only merchandise. And occasionally they have DVC member events. These are fun. We've gone to a couple of these. They call them Moonlight Magic.
So these are after hours parties that only DVC members can get into. It's pretty awesome. And you need to be a direct owner of DVC points.
And they're no cost too, other than buying into the DVC.
Right. So Alicia, I just happened to jump ahead a little bit and mentioned that you have to be a direct owner of DVC points. What did I mean?
Well, Nathan, this is really sounding like a sales pitch right now. You can buy directly from Disney, or you can do resale. Some people are done with their contracts and want to sell them off. And there's different companies that will resell Disney Vacation Club points.
Yes.
They're usually much less expensive than going directly through Disney.
Yes.
But you don't get a lot of the extras. Sometimes you can only use a resale at that resort. You can't use it at other resorts. It really depends on what you're doing or what you're getting. There's a lot of different caveats that you have to take into account.
Right. And Disney has the right to change the rules and the perks and things that are available to resale points at any time. So buyer beware. You can save a bunch of money if you buy a resale contract. However, there's some unknowns in terms of what you will be getting for that. And so it almost kind of converts that into a more traditional timeshare where you don't necessarily have a given week at that resort, but kind of think of it as you have points to use at this resort and you may not have access to a bunch of the other resorts in the DVC system, or at least some of them.
Yeah. We're talking a lot about points. And one of the things to note about points is Disney cannot change the amount of points it takes to stay at a resort. That's how much it is.
Right. When they build a resort, there is a set number of points that is how much it is to stay there. Now, there are different times of year, different seasons where it may cost more or less points per night to stay in a particular room, and they can't change those point charts other than they float the dates a little bit around holidays and things like that, which, it makes sense. It's a little bit of a supply and demand kind of thing. But however much it costs to stay in a given room in a given season, like that is set in stone. The only thing they're changing is the shoulder dates, the end and start dates of some of those seasons.
Now, Nathan, what about cost to join?
Cost is free. It's completely free. Just go ask for points and they'll give you points for free. No. The cost per point used to be originally $48 per point, which is amazing because the current cost per point is something like $260 per point.
It's anywhere from $171 up to $260, depending on the number of points you're buying and where you're buying.
Exactly. They will give you discounts if you want to buy bigger contracts. They are often having sales on specific resorts and things like that. So the list price is $260 a point. But if you're paying list price for your contract, we should talk because you're doing it wrong. There's always different schemes and discount packages available.
Yep.
The minimum number of points that you can buy directly from Disney as a first-time owner is usually somewhere around 100 points. And that changes from time to time. They may have some specials available where you can buy in with a smaller contract, but it's usually around 100 points. Now, once you're an owner, you can do what are called add-on contracts, and those are smaller if you need them to be. I think you can get anywhere down to 25 points, I think is the floor. That said, you can also add on contracts that are big. So you can add on a 300-point contract or a 500-point contract if you want to. Down payment is usually pretty typical. This is a real estate transaction. This is a deeded thing. You're looking at a 10 to 20% down payment. You've got closing costs and title and insurance and all the rest of that stuff. This is an official real estate transaction. There are also annual maintenance fees based on the number of points that you buy. So, well, that's a little bit of a misnomer. Now, let me restate that. The annual maintenance fees are so much per point. So it may be $2 or $5 a point or something like that per year. And that is you paying for the upkeep and insurance and everything on the property that you own. This is very typical of a condo.
It's going to depend on the resort, the amount that you pay per point. I think I've seen it as low as like $5 or $6 and goes up to, I think, $10 per point based on the resort.
Exactly.
There are a couple of finer points on the direct versus resale process. With direct, it is a much faster end-to-end process. You can choose your own use year. Financing payment can be made with a credit card, and you have access to all the programs within DVC. So the using points for Disney Cruise Line or non-DVC resorts, Adventures by Disney and the Concierge Collection. There is a minimum point requirement, like we said, for first purchase.
The one thing that Alicia mentioned is a use year, and that's basically selecting which month of the year your points hit your account every year. So our use year is December. You can get a March use year or a June use year. Like there's, for whatever reason, I think 8 of the 12 months or 7 of the 12 months are available to be use years. Yeah. I don't know why they're not every month. It doesn't make any sense to me, but this is just the way it works.
And if you do resale, it is a much lower cost than direct purchase, but the process can take a lot longer, like 6 weeks or longer. Disney also has the right of first refusal, which means if they want to buy the contract back, they can buy the contract back.
Right.
And there are no access to any programs or member extras and discounts.
And this is what has changed. It used to be a resale contract got the exact same benefits as anything else. That has since changed, but they typically grandfather in resale contracts. So if you bought resale like 10 years ago, you do have points. you do have those benefits rather available with your points. It's just always changing.
Yes, it does. It's
the big
always
thing.
changing. Yeah.
And the newer resorts that they have built in the last several years are where the use of those resale points have been significantly restricted.
Yep.
Like if you own your resale contract at Riviera, you can use your resale contract points at the Riviera Resort. But if you happen to buy your resale contract, say at Disney's Vero Beach Resort, you cannot use those points to book at Riviera at all, even within that 7-month different resort window.
Yeah. And so you always want to check and see what the changes are, because they do happen here and there.
Your plans to use your vacation points are going to determine how you want to pursue a purchase.
Yeah.
Everybody's family situation and vacation preferences are going to be different. And so whatever works best for you is what you should do.
Yep. This works out very well for us because we Disney all the time.
Yes.
We like having a lot of room in our hotel space, and DVC allows us to have that. The overall cost savings for us, we haven't really figured that out, other than we know it's a significant savings, just based on how much Disney rooms are for a regular hotel room.
Right.
The rack rates are, for a room we'd want, would be like $1,500 a night.
Right. We rarely spend a DVC night in a studio. We're almost always at least in a 1-bedroom, if not a 2-bedroom. And we have not infrequently gone ahead and gotten a 3-bedroom grand villa.
And those are like what, $3,000-$4,000 a night?
Yeah, thousands a night. And so if you look at, you have an upfront cost of this real estate transaction, and then you're paying maintenance fees. So, if I'm paying a couple $1,000s a year in terms of maintenance fees, if I think of it as that's now what I'm paying for a 3-bedroom grand villa for a few nights, and then a 2-bedroom for a week, and then this and that, like for us, it makes a heck of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we have 3 contracts because we Disney a lot.
Yes, because we Disney a lot.
Yep.
And we got the contract at the brand new tower there at the Disneyland Hotel because it was really impossible for us to ever get into a DVC room over the Grand Californian. And so being in Seattle, we wanted to be able to head down and use our points and stay at DVC every once in a while, do some long weekends here and there. And that's what we're going to be able to do. Yeah. And the brilliant thing is, if we don't use all of those points at the Disneyland Hotel in a DVC room, we can apply them to a trip to Florida, or we can apply those points to a trip to Aulani.
Yep.
Or this is another thing you can think about. We could rent those points out to somebody else. So there are, just like you can do resale market points, you can also rent points. And so if you are interested in trying DVC, this is something you may want to explore as well. Like, what is it like to stay in a DVC resort room in a villa? Let's go find that out. And you can try out the DVC experience for a fraction of the amount of cost as it would be to just buy in blindly, because you're basically paying somebody else to make a reservation on your behalf in your name at a resort. And so it's a great way to test the DVC waters.
There are multiple ways you can find out more about DVC. You can contact Disney directly. There are also a lot of DVC rental sites online. We haven't used any of them, so we don't have any specific ones that we can recommend.
Right.
But do your due diligence, do some research, maybe contact your travel agent. They may be able to help you out.
And if you're not getting pointed in a good direction via your own research, shoot us an email, podcast@adventuresandmousecapades. We can help you out a little bit here and there too. Just remember, We're not affiliated with Disney, and we're not travel agents, and this is not a timeshare sales advertisement. You are on your own in terms of determining whether purchasing Disney Vacation Club points are right for you. And while we can offer our opinions and suggestions, we recommend reaching out to Disney to talk about DVC or a travel agent to help plan your perfect vacation.
If you have any questions or suggestions, or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your vacation experience, please send us an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
Follow us on social media. We're at Our Mousecapades, pretty much everywhere on the socials. And do please go into your podcast app, give us a rating and review. That really helps the algorithm send people our way.
Thank you for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.